Hello, and welcome to our Eduro Learning video series, Coaching Fundamentals. In this series, we'll hear from 12 experienced instructional coaches from around the world on topics like how do you define the role of a coach, and what are your best strategies in a coaching conversation. My name is Kim Cafino, and I will be your host throughout this series. I've been really fortunate to be an instructional coach in schools around the world for the last almost 20 years, and I've learned a ton from these conversations, so I am super excited to share them with you. If you like this format, hearing from lots of different perspectives on a single topic, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel to get all 12 videos in the series. Turn on notifications to find out when we're live on YouTube and to be the first to see the next installment. Have questions about instructional coaching, or would you like to see a specific video series related to anything about education and technology? Leave us a comment below and let us know. Want to see even more instructional coaching resources after you've watched this series? Head on over to our website to check out our free resources, more videos, and online courses about teaching and learning and coaching in the digital world. Coaching means lots of different things to lots of different people. So today our network of coaches is going to share how they define the role of a coach, what a coach means to them, and what the expectations are in a school setting.
So for me, a coach is a mentor and a collaborator who has the bigger picture or goal of where they would like to see the school and the teachers going, while at the same time understanding where they are right now and trying to bridge that gap between the two.
The coach is really someone who helps a teacher look at their practice and look at their unit, at what their goals are, what they want the kids to learn. And then you help them along with them, you do it along with them, you help them think about how can we get there? And of course, and then I have a reservoir of knowledge that they might not have. But I get into this dilemma a lot of, trying to promote their own inquiry rather than tell them what a great idea I just had that they could do, that'll probably be a further question down the way here, but that's something that's really difficult to keep in mind. But yeah, I think the coach is someone who can help someone open up their practice. So many of us, myself included, because I teach a course here, you can end up just bouncing things around in your own head and never have the opportunity to break it open and look at it from different angles. And that's what a coach can do, is just by paraphrasing what you say is offer you a different angle on what you're doing.
I think a coach is the person who stands on the sidelines and has hopefully prepared the player to make the plays. So I define my role as a technology coach, instructional coach, as the one who asks the good questions to the teachers and helps them find the right play that they already know inside of themselves. And so that, I think, is my ideal definition. I think along with that, sometimes I play the role of consultant, which I think is a little bit different than coach. I jump into the consultant role when there's someone, when there's, maybe it's a new teacher and they really just need my advice at that moment. They don't need me to ask them another question. But I think that going between that coach and consultant sort of happens within the same meeting with a teacher.
My role is to support teachers and students in enhancing their learning. And that's it. Like, that's my whole thing. Like, I just want them to be better learners, and I want them to be more efficient learners and more effective learners. And if I'm doing that, then I feel like I'm doing my job well.
In general, I think a coach is someone who is supporting other teachers in growing professionally with the ultimate goal of impacting student learning and the learning experience. And that can take that coaching role can appear in lots of different ways, whether someone is in their job as a coach, like an instructional coach or a math coach or innovation coach or ed tech coach or whatever job description, job name that they give that. But I think the ultimate goal is you're supporting other educators to improve their practice.
Coaching actually can mean different things to different people depending on the philosophy that their school takes in approaching it. For me, a coach is someone who helps somebody achieve their goals. So a lot of times, I think when people get into coaching, it's because they're really good at something. And so they're seen as someone who can help other people. But I think one of the big missteps of a lot of coaches, maybe I can just speak from my own experiences, is actually when you enter the role of a coach, you actually are more in the role of a consultant. And so you're trying to help people become better in the way that you think they should become better. So you've had success in one area, so people look to you and say, oh, you're successful at doing this. Can you show me how to do that? And I think that's different than actually being a coach. So I think a coach is someone who, first and foremost, listens very closely to an individual and finds out what hopes, dreams, desires, goals are, and then helps facilitate, almost like holding a mirror back to them so they can see sort of how they're approaching it and help them to discover their best way forward, not the way that you think they should move forward.
How do I define the role of a coach? I found this one a really hard one to answer, actually. I mean, coaches are definitely in the business of the people business. It's a relationship exercise. But it's not just enough to have a relationship with teachers. You have to be doing something. So, and I guess for me, the doing something is the innovative piece. Now, innovation looks different to everybody, and it might look different for one teacher to the next. So I'm thinking that innovation is really around making something more engaging for students. It's really to do with moving the learning forward in the most effective way. So whether it's more engaging, more effective, a new approach, anything like that, I think the idea of a coach is to find the right next step for each teacher to move them forward in supporting student learning.
I define the role of the coach as someone who is focused on helping adults be modern learners. And what I mean by that is that coaches need to help people to learn how to solve their own problems, learn how to find the answers, learn how to use networks to get good ideas. I think it's kind of that whole guide on the side thing that we talk about teachers evolving into, being less direct instruction. Not that there's not a place for that, but to do that less as you help students or adult learners to pull from within themselves to find the answers. And so, yeah, I think that Scott Riley, a friend of mine who's also a learning coach, kind of, as he was becoming a learning coach, kind of said that to me. He just said, I'm learning what you are as a coach. You're just a really good learner who can talk to other people about how to learn best. And I thought that was quite insightful for me to be like, yeah, I mean, it is. I teach people how to search and find. I teach people how to ask questions. And I don't even like saying I teach people how. I try to pull from within of people for them to have their aha moment that, I could try this, I could try that. There's a role in coaching. There's a role of a coach to also consult, which I think is more of the give the answer, provide direction. And I think that's actually something that needs to be balanced for coaches.
This is, it's an interesting question to define what a coach means, because I think for many people it means different things. And I think lots of people, when they think about a coach, think about a sports coach who basically comes and gives you tips as to how you can improve your performance. But for me, a coach isn't really like that at all. A coach is somebody who works with you, doesn't come in as a consultant to give you lots of advice, but who works with you to help you become more self-directed in the way that you use technology. So it's a lot more building up confidence, perhaps building up craftsmanship, but not coming in as a consultant and basically saying to people, this is a great tool and this is how you use it, and we expect to see you using it in your 8th grade social studies next week. So if I was to sum it up in one word, I would say that the coach is there to help teachers become more self-directed in the way they plan to use technology for student learning.
I define the role as a coach as somebody who's working alongside with somebody else. So to support their learning, to support their understanding, no matter where you are as a learner, I feel that you can use a coach, right? Everyone can use a coach to help support you. No matter where somebody is, I can help them. If it's the person who knows very little about technology or the person who knows a lot, I feel like I can help move them forward. In our situation, a coach is non-evaluative. I feel that's really important because then it's much easier to work with the people that you're working with. And also the role of a coach, I guess, because we've gone through the cognitive coaching. And so the role of a coach is, there's a number of roles like a problem solving or problem resolving, reflection, planning, those sort of things are also part of the role of the coach.
I think the role of the coach is to really be an advocate for the teacher and for the students, and to help them to find the path that they need and that they are most comfortable with in order to reach sort of the defined outcomes and objectives and philosophy of the program of the school. It's not my job to come in and tell you how to do something or to tell you, oh, you could do this better. It's my job to really listen to what people are saying and to find out where their comfort levels are and maybe where their discomfort levels are and how we can help challenge them, but at the same time, help them feel like they are still in a bit of control so that they are able to move forward at a pace that is good for them, challenging for them, but also not something that's going to totally turn them off or totally make them just want to kind of turn inward and say, no, I'm not doing that.
I try to remind myself that really being a coach is being an advocate for a teacher's best learner self. I think that's the seed that you are always looking for, because unfortunately teachers don't always get to switch gears. And I think a coach is that person to remind them to just every once in a while remember what it was that, you know, most teachers were motivated to get into education for, and that's that love of learning.
As you can see, there are lots of similarities and lots of differences between what all of our experienced instructional coaches think of as the role of a coach. Hopefully this has provided you with some practical ideas and strategies and ways to describe the role in a school context that will make sense to you. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more resources about coaching or about technology and learning or even about parenting in the digital age, please head over to our website, edurolearning.com, and check out all of the great stuff we have there for you. See you there.